Hey, this is Soul Purpose Farms. My name is Aaron Golson. We represent the agricultural literacy platform focusing on developing and enhancing non-traditional agricultural individuals into the agricultural industry. So today we have Kelly Johnson, who will be with us throughout the whole platform. She is an expert in the field and also a graduate student at a land grant institution, which we'll dive into a little deeper once we get into the conversation. Hey, how you doing, Kelly?
Hey, Aaron. Yes, thank you for having me on your platform, Soul Purpose Farms. You know, we'll get into conversations, but just to piggyback off of Aaron, this platform really is a place for really building a community for folks in agriculture, especially young people in agriculture coming into the space, just talking about different topics. We'll be discussing like just different topics around career journeys in general, your purpose, your passion. What does family look like in your career? Grad school. We'll be hitting on all these different aspects. We are not experts, disclaimer. Just want to talk about our experiences as we go through this series, and hope you all tap in, like, comment, and subscribe. And welcome to Soul Purpose family.
As you all can see, this is my first time doing something like this. And also, I feel honored to be doing this with somebody who I trust and who I feel is a pillar within the agriculture industry, in the academic field, and the formal and informal field, because the purpose of this platform is to build a community within the agricultural field and break all these negative connotations around agriculture, like, oh, it's too hard to get into, I don't know what that really is. And being that me and Kelly are from an urban area, agriculture looks very different for us into how we got into it. But far as us being individuals with from the minority population, if you go back 2 3 generations, you always have had a connection to agriculture, and realizing what today in today's facsimile agriculture looks totally different than what you've been raised up thinking agriculture really is. And also realizing that you can't even go a day without agriculture. So when you hear the word agriculture, Vic, what does that mean to you?
Honestly, it means everything, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, from the clothes we wear to the desks that we sit at, the chairs we sit on, the food that we eat, the materials we build our houses with, it's all around us. You know what I'm saying? From the cars we drive, it's everything. Um, you know what I'm saying? I like to play around and call USDA, you know what I'm saying, the mothership, United States Department of Agriculture, but it's the truth. It's everything, and it's the core of who we are as people as well. Yeah, that's what it means to me, for real, for real. What about you?
For me, agriculture is everything what you just said, as far as the clothing and textile industry to
Mm-hmm.
business, whatever pillar of business what you're looking at, whatever lens you're looking at through marketing, accounting. We need all those people within the agriculture field. And as far as what agriculture means to me, it really shaped my life to developing as a man in so many ways, because getting to, I guess I'll jump to how I got into the agriculture field.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned. I joined 4-H in the third grade, and I started going to 4-H meetings to get away from the after school program. Like, okay, hey, those kids get out the cafeteria, they start to have a club. Once I got in the third grade, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to the 4-H, end up falling in love with it. But what happened at my school, which was an urban elementary school, um, my 4-H teacher retired. So our county only had one 4-H club at that level for elementary school students. So I was a part of 4-H from third grade through 12th grade, which some of you may not know what 4-H is. 4-H is a youth development organization, probably one of the largest, if not the largest organizations for youth development in the world, focusing on all aspects of agriculture and related fields of agriculture, from what you say, like A&R, which is agriculture and natural resources, to career development. I learned so many different things in agriculture, from public speaking, developing my personal skills, just learning what an elevator pitch was, learning how to build a resume, learning just all soft skills all across the board. And it was very instrumental to my life because it helped me break out of a shell and realizing that life looks a lot different from the surroundings that I was used to. So
Mm.
going to 4-H camps all across the state. My first time even going to Washington D.C. was with 4-H, and I fell in love with the one and only time I ever been to the Smithsonian for free. All those camps I went to for free. I don't know if they're still for free at this point, but I know it's at a very low cost.
Mm-hmm.
So I would encourage anybody to join 4-H, even if you're in an urban setting or rural setting, and how you can reach out to 4-H, trying to get involved as far as if you have any children or if you want to just get involved as far as being an adult volunteering, you can reach out to the county extension agency. I guess I'm jumping ahead, Vic, because
No, you did.
because when you think about extension, that's a pillar of the land grant system, whether it be at 1862 or 1890. And when we say 1862, we're talking about the 1862 land grant university system,
Mm-hmm.
which everyone has in their state, or 1890, which there are only 19, mostly located in the southeast region, and it's a couple in the northeast region of the country. So that's how I got into agriculture, was through 4-H, and also, and I guess that would be more so on kind of sort of the formal side, but the informal side, I remember having conversations with my grandfather. He was had a livestock operation in Mississippi, having those conversations with him, saying, "Hey, and this is how I grew up in a rural area, but you all don't know anything about that." So, one to always have that peace of mind as far as saying, "I'm doing something for my grandfather and doing something bigger for my family and the community." So, what about you, Vic?
Well, I mean, I want you to hit on your story a little bit more to kind of talk about how everything came full circle, because even after, you know what I'm saying, grade school being in 4-H, you didn't carry 4-H on,
Okay.
you know what I'm
No,
saying? So
no,
like
no.
talk about how
Okay.
things went full
Okay.
circle.
So how things went full circle with me was even me and Vic. All right, so me and Vic, we met in high school. At didn't even know we was gonna link up again later on in life. I went to a career fair, I guess you would say, at
It
her
was a scholarship audition.
yeah, a scholarship audition, I guess. And I went over there. I was in 12th grade. She was in 11th grade, and I was sitting there in the band room. I was like ready to get ready to audition. She just came, "Hey, how you doing?" Just being friendly, saying, introducing herself. Fast forward probably 2, 3 years later, if that, ran into again, like, this is the same as that girl I met in high school. Never thought I would go see her again. Ended up
Mhm.
becoming one of the pioneers and mentors I look up to into the field, saying, "Okay, cool. You into this thing too?" I'm really not into it, but I can deal what you're saying, because just think about my undergraduate degree. I went to school for education essentially, but then I saw how philosophy and religion really was a key aspect in my life as far as learning, for having a spiritual foundation and learning about different religions all across the world and what philosophy means. And I'm a deep thinker, so I always wanted to see how people think and why people think in the ways they do. So I majored in philosophy and religion with a minor in education at the undergrad level. Then I was able to go on and get a Master of Science in individual family development, which was housed inside of family and consumer sciences, which is a pillar under agriculture. And I was able to gain a graduate assistantship and get good mentorship from my supervisor at the time.
Mhm.
And off of conversations, he kind of sort of said, "Hey, Aaron," after he got to know who I was, he was like, "You know, you will be very good in agriculture." I said, "Agriculture?" I was like, "Man, I never really thought about taking a career in agriculture or thinking about what research looks like on the formal side and in the academic path." But he was like, "Aaron, you really built for this, and you've been around it all your life. As
Mm-hmm.
far as the youth development side, the research side, and you got a natural passion for getting back into the land. So I was like, kind of thought about it a little bit. Then I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Uh, I know I'm going on and on. Then after,
I mean, talk about, I mean to cut you off, but talk about, you know what I'm saying? Talk about full circle. You know, you a man of faith, you know what I'm saying? You have the religion piece, you got the education piece,
yeah,
and then you have the mentorship and the folks that, you know, that you can look to as mentors to kind of guide you into that next aspect, which is the ag piece. Like that's full circle. That's a crazy full circle moment.
yeah, because you know how sometimes like, man, how am I connecting all of this? When I sit back and think about my journey throughout my life, it was very unorthodox, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I really can't connect it all. But then I realized if you don't have a foundation for anything and believe in something, you know the saying, if you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for.
Everything.
There we go. So I realized also that as far as being a black man and a part of a strong black family and a black community that raised me, that the two things that black people always had was food and faith.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't have nothing, we
Yep.
had food and faith. And one thing, even if you're not a Christian, Muslim, whatever background you're from, you have to eat, drink, and essentially put on clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So I said I had to be a part of it. And this is what this platform is here to bring education around certain topics, to draw individuals in who have certain hardships they feel that they can't go through. We'll have segments across vast from all kind of aspects, from land ownership. Uh, might talk about business as well, what business looks like in the agricultural space, mentorship. So the journey to agriculture for me in creating this platform has been very hard. It's been hard because I didn't think I can get into it because like, how can I look to become an owner within this space? And I just stepped out there on faith and said, okay, let's start small in hopes that we can scale, which we are going to scale what we're
Right.
doing right now. So this is the first episode, and we're telling everyone to tap in, subscribe, like, and share it as well.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think that phrase is, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah, there
But
you go.
we gonna
There you go.
we gonna adopt that one though. We
Let me
gonna
write that down.
put that one on wax. The other one you said though.
Okay, okay. And you know what else too? Even when you talk about soul purpose hit me like a rock. I was doing some reading a couple years ago. I always had a vision that I wanted to start my own agricultural enterprise, um, and bring in all the people that have been influential into my life. I was reading a statement, so I hope it's not trademark because I'm just gonna say this. I was reading a statement in the book. Not gonna say what book it is until later on, once I meet these individuals. But I was reading this phrase, and it said, "Your sole purpose in life is not to own the land, but to control the land." I was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Dang, that hit me like a brick." So I was like, "Okay, but I want to do both."
Mm-hmm.
But until for me to own the land, I got to learn how the land works. So that's why I say, okay, cool. Soul Purpose Farms. And you're saying farm is not as an actual physical place, but farm as a community of people who
Mm-hmm.
have the same shared vision.
Right. Because that's all agriculture and farming is.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And we'll tap into that, you know what I'm saying, in another episode. But yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, full circle.
So what about you, V? How did you get into the agriculture industry, man?
So for me, I was in 4-H as well, for not the traditional 4-H where I was showing animals and stuff like that.
Right.
In Atlanta, it was during a time where Katrina happened. Well, I started when in middle school, but then Katrina happened, and that's when all the folks from New Orleans had moved up to the city. And so my chapter,
City as in what? You know,
Atlanta.
okay. Everybody watching it. You ain't from Los Angeles?
City, yeah, to the city. we call Atlanta the city. So
okay, that's what we're gonna do.
yeah, so that's when everybody started moving to the city, whatever. And my chapter was full of folks from New Orleans, and that's neither here nor there. But we focused a lot on the leadership aspect of 4-H, not even the STEM, really the leadership piece. And so that was my 4-H, that was my 4-H experience. And then I didn't really touch on anything 4-H after that. But my family, we have a farm operation in Greensboro, Alabama, a few hundred acres. It's been passed down in the family, and it's we in the process of revitalizing and getting things. Things are up and going, but there's always room for growth and improvement, and that's where we are now. But yeah, so I got to South Carolina State. That's where I attended undergrad, and I was a nursing major. I always knew that like my plan B was gonna be accounting. Going doggone well, accounting just was not it. So I did nursing my first semester. That didn't work out. We lost the program. Then I went into accounting. That definitely didn't work out. And then I was introduced to Dr. Selassie, who was the department chair at the time. And I was the only student in my class that was in that program at the time. Everybody else was headed out. So, and it was like maybe 10 of us, if that. And so when I got into when I met Dr. Selassie, got into my ag classes, I really enjoyed it. And I started tapping into, the work that I was doing at my family farm in the summer times, holidays. I was always in Alabama. My mama always sent me to Alabama. So I did a lot of work and had a lot of experience there, but I really enjoyed, I felt connected in a way that I didn't feel connected before in my studies. And I probably could have did better, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway.
And look where you're at now.
You're right. Everything happens for a reason. So long story less long, went through the ag business, and I mean, that's when everything opened up for me. And it wasn't just my mentors and professors that did the work. I did the work, because we don't come from, that's a whole nother topic, but we don't come from a college of ag. So I had to create my own lane, really, with the whole ag thing. But what really struck me is we would go to the auction, the livestock auction yard or market every third or fourth Wednesday of the month. And that really intrigued me. I had been a part of programs. Anyway, so yeah, that really struck me, being a part of that process. I had been at programs at North Carolina State, like pre-vet programs that allow me to see what livestock auction markets look like in different states, because they look very different. And that really struck my interest. And going back to just things being full circle, I was trying to, during this process, I'm trying to figure out like what it is, why am I so interested or tied to agriculture. And I realized I grew up around this. Like, I come from a family of farmers. I come from 4-H, and then like I said, from there, just different opportunities start to come my way, as I put in the work with it too. But that's kind of my ag story. It's always been a part of my life. I think it took our own journeys for us to be able to tie it back to, oh, this is ag. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where I come from. This is why, you know what I'm saying? This is why I'm so tied to my family, why I love being with my family, because we did this on the farm. Or, the youth development piece where I was part of it, and I want kids to be part of it.
And for me, I think I didn't start getting hands-on experience until the last couple years, as far as working as a farm worker or farm assistant on a poultry and cattle farm. And I learned so much, and I realized, like, hey, this is something I always want to do, because I went to the 4-H, went with 4-H growing up, and with my community church, going down to the state fairs, looking at people show cattle, show sheep, show goats. Like, why can I do that? Then my 4-H extension agent was letting me know that, Aaron, we're in an urban area, so we don't have those programs within our extension office here. So like, dang, how can I do that? And that always been in the back of my mind. But it wasn't until I got the right mentorship to saying, okay, Aaron, this is how you can set this up for a bigger play in life,
Mhm.
because it's rules to everything. And once
Yeah.
you understand the rules, you'll understand how to play the game. So it's pretty similar to yours, though, Vic. But I had to say thank you for even having those conversations and sparking that interest in me as well. Saying, okay, you can be in the agriculture field, just finding your lane.
Mhm.
We've been through trial and error. I really believe wholeheartedly that we found what God has called us to do and to
So,
bring.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, as far as believing that God has called us to do this work, being stewards of the field of agriculture,
Mhm.
and understand how will look for people in 2022 and how it will look for people in 2050. When they're saying it will be approximately 9 billion people on Earth, food shortages, uh, economic programs that will not necessarily uplift people who already come from generational wealth and
Mhm.
drive the other population into extreme poverty, but seeing like, okay, if we get more people engaged as far as finding their lane within agriculture, more people would help the issue at hand in the near future.
Yeah. Yeah. And just hitting on, we ain't gonna go too far in that because that's when we get to that passion and that
Yeah.
purpose. But I do want to ask you, like, for you, so like in your process, and you kind of hit on it, at what point did you figure out, okay, like this is for me?
When I realized that I had a thing for writing,
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with the research side first because I was able to present some research.
Wait. Ag or PhD? You talk about that because
Oh,
we
oh, oh,
ain't,
oh, okay,
people
okay.
don't even know about we
Okay,
stopped at undergrad.
okay. Well, we're gonna just start
So
at
ag.
okay. Well, we'll start on a master's level, because I'm also currently a PhD student, going into my second year. So, as a master's student, I found that agricultural research was very interesting, seeing the different aspects of how everything is interconnected in the agricultural field is very interdisciplinary. I'm like, dang, I really can do this. I was intimidated at first, like, oh man, I don't know. I don't have a real background in this. But after I tapped in and said, man, look here, I'm gonna have to work my butt off, like real tunnel vision, and just really find my lane. And when you have that aha moment, whatever that may be, you're gonna sit there like, okay, cool. This is what I'm called to do.
Mm-hmm.
And to see how impactful it is when you are sharing knowledge and information with people who are seeking knowledge and ones who are unaware of certain things, your mind will expand bigger than the farthest horizons. And one thing I recognize as being, we're going fast forward to the PhD level, is that agriculture looks a lot different for students who have a certain drive about themselves, because some students may become complacent because they've been around it all their lives. But for me, I had a very informal, very non-traditional route into the agriculture field, and it's a passion of mine from inside the classroom and outside the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, Kelly, but I'm almost at the point like, damn, why everybody in there agriculture?
Right.
Why don't more people know about it? Because even when I see certain things going on the internet and seeing these big uh, economic liberation movements, and saying like, dang, the only thing is missing is the agricultural piece. And once that is tied in, I think we as a people, as the human population, will grow to a whole nother level. Hopefully, I answered the question.
I mean, yeah.
Hopefully, I answered the question. I feel like I was rambling a little bit. Like
what I was trying to get you to answer was, well, you did answer it.
okay.
You did answer. You answered it. You answered it. You answered it.
What you were trying to get me to do?
No. You answered it. I was thinking like in the beginning of your journey, like what struck, because I think the interdisciplinary piece came later.
What struck me
So,
and said,
like,
what hit me like a brick when I'm like, okay, this air coach thing for me.
Yeah. And maybe you hit on it too, and I just
okay. I said when I was a graduate student, getting a master's, that was a key thing. But once I started doing my own research and find out it's a profitable enterprise, and it's a way I'm big on economics. I'm big on the finance world, and learning the three things in how business is really ran and how you can keep your leverage in the business or just money in general is getting money, growing money, and sustaining money. So
got to put them at the
yeah, getting money, growing money, and sustaining money is the three things I learned throughout my whole life. And I realized, hey, I can do this in agriculture. And once that I really honed in on that, man, I was on Amazon ordering books. I was YouTube podcast shouting. I was everything. I was okay, cool. How does this look on the formal side? How does this look in the private sector? How does this look in the public sector? How does this look in the academic field? How does it look from being a small farmer to a large farmer? What's the difference between cow and calf pairs? What's the difference between stock and the background? What's the difference between a feedlot? Learning everything about the industry I just became a student of life because it just hit me like, dang, it's so many things I can do in this field. And once I started meeting and going to different meetings with people in the industry, whatever field it may be in, man, these are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. You always have barriers. Okay, cool. But I like to look at the glass as half full. Then okay, cool. Yeah, they might not be for me for this one right here, but I did learn something out of this. In every lesson, there's a blessing.
Every lesson, there's a blessing. You're right.
In every lesson, there's a blessing. So once I took that and said, dang, I don't really see no competition. And how can I bring everybody that I love and that I see value in, and it happens to be people like yourself, you already in the field. So let's come together and let's create a whole movement as far as letting the people know what agriculture is and start diminishing some of the negative connotations around it.
That's what it's all about.
So, but I'm going to tap into y'all next week. Myself and Vic, Kelly, Vic, however you want to call it, KJ. Real close to it. But I'm gonna stop messing with y'all. But we're gonna tune in next week. Catch us again at Soul Purpose Farms at gmail.com, IG at Soul Purpose Farms, and as well if you want to email me or email Kelly at soulpurposefarms.com. Thank you again. Peace.